All right, thanks a lot, John. And I tell you, I thought I was busy too.
I know it. I know it.
That.
Yeah, exactly. And Mark has been a phenomenal guy. It's just as far as helping to coordinate all of these things. And like John said, he does wear a lot of hats, but at the same time, he really cares, and it's something that he's passionate about, and it shows.
All right, Gerhard, I know you were down on the field for that first game.
Right.
Two great teams, James Clemens and Ben Russell doing battle. Very interesting second game we've got coming up between Oxford and Ray County. And very rarely do you see great matchups in spring training because, to be honest, you know, a lot of coaches don't like to have tough tests in the spring, and you can't blame them. They only get in 10 practices in the state of Alabama, and one of those practices has to be the game. So this is Oxford's 10th practice, if you will, tonight in this game. Little different rules up in Tennessee, though. They actually have 15 practices and 2 scrimmages.
Wow.
So they allow a little more practice time in the spring for teams up there. Don't know how much that'll come into play because both of these teams have a lot of tradition, good coaching staffs. So from researching, we know a lot about Oxford. We've all learned a lot about Ray County in the last couple of weeks. What do you make of this matchup tonight?
I honestly really, really like it. I think it's good for both squads. Just like the last game, what I think about this game is that it's a great test for both teams. We see this a lot in college football, the first game of the year being the big games, and a lot of marquee schools are going to that first game of the year, big games. We've seen Alabama, Wisconsin this year. We'll see Auburn and Clemson. I think the spring kind of works in that same way if you can get a good game like this early on. This works this way for Oxford because this is one of the better teams out of the Chattanooga area and really one of the better teams out of South Tennessee. They have a phenomenal tight end, what we'll see a little bit later, but it also brings a completely different style. This is a team that Oxford really has no common opponents with, and Ray County has no common opponents with Oxford. So we'll see the way that both teams really settle into this matchup and find out the way that they control each other, especially in the early part of the game.
And while we're here getting ready for football, we will pass along the score that we were just told about. JSU softball, Eastern Kentucky, 0-0, fourth inning. So for those folks keeping up with the JSU OVC softball tournament being held this weekend at the new park in Oxford, Chakalaka Park. Fantastic facility down in the city of Oxford.
It really is, and the JSU softball team has just been a phenomenal story really all year long. I got a chance to catch up with them. About midway through the year, they're about 15-0 in conference play. They ended off with the best season, regular season, in the conference, 30-0, and then they won their first round game yesterday, and then they won their second round game, a game that was supposed to be played a little bit earlier, but the weather got in the way. They beat SIU Edwardsville 6-4 this morning at 9 a.m., and then tonight they're playing, obviously, in their third game in 3 days. So we'll find out what they can do, and hopefully they'll be able to cap off a phenomenal regular season with the conference championship because, of course, that conference champion will end up going to play in the NCAA regionals. And how about the storylines for JSU athletics here recently with the football team going to the national championship, the basketball team hiring a new coach with Coach Ray Harper, and then the excitement with the softball team. So this will be a phenomenal run for the Gamecocks, and we'll keep you up to date with that score as that game progresses.
Yep, we will definitely keep you abreast of that game throughout the evening. And there you see the captains for both of these teams down on the field getting set for the coin toss. We are just a couple of moments away from getting started here with our second game of our opening night of the 2016 Gridiron Challenge. You know, we talk about Ray County being from the state of Tennessee. This is actually the second time they have played a game in the state of Alabama. They traveled down to Prattville High School back in 1992 and took on the Lions. So this is Ray County's second venture into the state of Alabama, and here they play the Oxford Yellow Jackets in a jamboree matchup. There you see, saw a moment ago, the official signaling that Oxford will receive to start the game. We will go by the same rules that we went by in the first game for this game tonight.
One of the things to keep an eye on, and Tommy and John talked about this just a moment ago, is number 10 for Oxford, Kenny Britt. He's one of a phenomenal linebacker, just got invited to the 5-star challenge. We'll see him here in the 2016 Gridiron Challenge, and here are the rules.
The kicking game will not be live tonight. Teams will be allowed to punt and kick field goals and extra points with no rushing. On fourth down, the ball will move 35 yards downfield unless a team decides to go for it. And each team will have one timeout per quarter. Also, teams will be given 10 minutes to warm up after each game. That'll obviously be a big part of tomorrow's action as we have several games on the schedule for Saturday. There are no tiebreakers, 2-minute breaks between quarters. The ball will change possession between first and second quarter. Now, you may recall in John's interview with Mark Jones a moment ago, Mark talked about the coaches and the format that would be used tonight. Coming into the Jamboree, we were scheduled to have 2 varsity quarters between these two teams, and then a third quarter for junior varsity, all those quarters 12 minutes in length. The coaches were trying to tinker with that format before the game, but obviously because of AHSAA rules that still apply even though it's a spring game, we will most likely be sticking with the original format idea. So the Oxford Yellow Jackets with the football to start the game. Here we see a handoff to the Oxford tailback, Jordan Swain. A huge hole over the left side as he rumbles up near midfield. And a lot of storylines to talk about in this game. And here we see Swain taking the handoff from new quarterback this year, and Abe Peoples, who is an upcoming 10th grader. Oxford fans may recall Brody Sire was the quarterback for Oxford last year. He's had a position change. He is going to be starting at outside linebacker, so Abe Peoples gets to start at quarterback. Sire will see some action at quarterback in this game tonight, and most likely will play some quarterback during the season, according to Coach Ryan Herring. Swain, another huge gain on this handoff of 31 yards down inside the Ray County 20. And Gerhard, here on the first 2 plays, we're seeing an advantage we thought Oxford might have in this game, and that is overall team speed.
Absolutely, and both calls have been to the outside, and that's exactly what Jordan Swain is his strength right now, getting to the outside, using his speed to get to the corner. 2 big plays so far, and I think Oxford has already found its go-to guy.
Ray County got to be thinking, what's hit us here? 2 plays, and the Jackets have moved quickly from the 35 all the way down to the Ray County 19-yard line. Jackets knocking on the door here early. People's first pass of the game is incomplete, intended for Jacoby McClendon. Pass was a little behind him, but I think still a catchable football.
It's one that he's caught before, and we've done games with him before where he'll catch that slant route, and the coaches love it because it sets up a one-on-one with the cornerback, and a lot of times he's just so much more physical than the corner, and really you have one guy to beat and a lot of green grass ahead of him. That's a play that I will not be surprised to see Oxford go back to a little bit later in this game.
So second down, and for the Jackets, handoff up the middle. This time play defended a little better up the middle by the Golden Eagles. On the tackle, number 41, Chase Suttles.
That time they're running Jordan Swain on the inside. We saw the both previous times, the first 2 plays of the game, they bounced them to the outside. And really to be a versatile back in this Oxford system, they like the guys going both ways. They like guys that can run in between the guard and the tackle, as well as guys that can bounce it to the outside. You think of players like Rock Thomas, Tredarian Gamble that got the ball a lot. They were versatile in the way they could carry the ball both inside and out.
Third down and 6. Little option play to Swain. Could not break a tackle at the 17, 18-yard line. Nice play there by Eddie Davis, who came up and run support there, as we've got a flag on the play as well, and we're going to get a penalty against the Jackets, and I think it occurred right here on the lead block, Gerhard.
Yep, it did, and he still made the play. Even with that, it shows phenomenal discipline. And really with those option plays, everybody on the defense has an assignment. The defensive end has an assignment, whether it's you have the dive or whether you have the quarterback, and then the linebacker has an assignment and the safety has an assignment. Right there, Eddie Davis did everything he was supposed to do.
So a block in the back called against Russell of the Yellow Jackets, number 16. And the penalty will be declined. So it will be 4th down and 6. So again, the kicking game, teams have the option to try field goals with no rush. And of course, Oxford can go for it, which appears as though they will. So on 4th and 6, Peoples with the fake. Goes high toward the corner of the end zone into double coverage, and it's incomplete, intended for McClendon. Well defended by Chris Sturgeon along with Logan Hall for the Golden Eagles. So Gerhard, the Golden Eagles bend here, but they do not break. And they will take over after Oxford failed to score on 4th down.
Give a lot of credit to both the defensive line and the secondary. They did a great job there, and especially the secondary here, because one of Oxford's go-to plays, and we've seen it so far, is trying to get Jacoby McClendon going early on. First, they tried him with the little slip screen route to the outside, and then one-on-one with a fade to the goalpost, and both times denied there by the Golden Eagles. So like you said, the Golden Eagles shaky early with their tackling, but shirted up late and causing turnover on downs.
And look at this formation by Ray County. This is the kind of team they are, folks. If you have any doubts about what Ray County wants to do, just look at how they lined up there. 3 guys in a line behind the quarterback, 2 tight ends, no wide out split from the line of scrimmage, and they're just going to they're going to make you stop the run right up the gut.
It's always so funny because nowadays, I mean, what we used to see in football, that was normal. Everybody boxing in, and you would see all 11 guys within about 12 yards of the football. Now we see this spread offense and all of that. Ray County says, no, they're going back to the old school style. Really, look at everybody. Everybody is within about 10 yards of the football.
You know, really hardly any splits at all to speak of. The linemen are basically lined up cleat to cleat. And another flag before the snap, likely an offensive infraction here against Ray County. Oh no, actually against the Yellow Jackets, offside penalty. So that costs Oxford 5, and now Ray County facing 2nd and 3 instead of 2nd and 8.
And the thing is, with these kind of teams, this is what you do not want. You do not want 2nd and short against teams that run like this. Take a look at the players to watch here for Ray County. Number 16, Mason Stevenson, the running back you saw earlier. Eddie Davis, who made the fine tackle on that pitch play earlier. And Jared Edwards, a tight end.
Big hole up the middle. And there goes one of those players to watch, Mr. Eddie Davis. He found a seam, good trap block there by the tight end. And Davis broke through into the secondary for a big gain.
The rising senior doing a great job both on offense and on defense. And there, I mean, there's really no tricks about what Ray County's trying to do. They're just trying to muscle the football, power lead. And they got the first down on 2nd and short. So 2nd and short plays are really kind of gimme plays for these kind of offenses, because you can go to your pass on those plays, but right there they kept it on the ground with Davis.
Great block by the tight end, Jared Edwards, another player to watch, who is probably the most highly recruited player on the Ray County team. And speaking of recruits, there we see Mr. Kenny Britt saying hello, making his first big hit of the night, stopping that play for a short gain.
I knew it wouldn't be long before we said his name, and he comes right in there and gets the tackle. One of his biggest strengths is that he is not afraid to go right in the middle of the offense and make a big play on defense. And new defensive coordinator Lee Osmond has to love his senior leader, because he is great on the field and in the classroom and in the community.
2nd down and 8 for the Golden Eagles. And off at right tackle, nifty running there by Christian Simon. Small running back, but very quick on his feet. He picks up 13+ yards down to the Yellow Jacket 40.
It really looks like, to be a good running back in this system, you have to have great vision, because everybody's piled in right against one another. And in order to get reps, in order to get snaps, in order to get the ball in your hands especially, you have to have great vision. So far we've seen Eddie Davis and now Christian Simon, the rising junior, showing a really, really good job of that.
This is clearly an offense that Oxford won't see a whole lot in the 2016 season. So quite a challenge in a spring football game, no doubt about it. Here's Davis. Shook off one tackle. I believe he shook off the tackle of Kenny Britt that time. Davis, good hard running between the tackles. Another nice gain, setting up second and short. And Gerhard, we've talked about a couple of these guys already, and Sire moving to linebacker from quarterback Kenny Britt, who we'll talk a lot about. But Clay Webb is an interesting story. He's an upcoming sophomore. He's about 6'5", 280, already being recruited by some of the big SEC schools.
Right.
And he is one of the bright young players that Oxford's got coming up on their offensive line.
One of the guys that you'll look forward to seeing, because he is prototypical next level kind of guy, and he's got the feet for a big man, he's got the size, and he's only a sophomore like you said, and college coaches are taking notice of that, and there's a lot of them that are here. We'll get into that in just a minute, but he is one to watch out for the next couple of years, because he already shows the promise right now just as a sophomore.
I know you were down on the field in the first game. We've had a lot of college coaches visit the Gridiron Challenge the last few years, and I don't think I've ever seen so many big-name coaches on the field in one game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we saw Jeremy Pruitt, the guys highlighted that one earlier. Mississippi State's also here out of the SEC, as is Georgia.
So a third down, and look at the surge by the Rhea County offensive line. When that ball was snapped, the line of scrimmage just moved forward as one sea of white and green, and that has to please the Rhea County coaches, because they know their front guys are getting off the ball when you see that kind of movement at the line of scrimmage.
Right, and your offense is almost a little bit limited whenever you run plays and schemes like this, just because all the guys are packed in there on the inside. But when you have a force that moves like that, almost anything is possible, especially in the run game.
They have stuck with the same formation. I'm sure they've got some pass plays in their playbook here, but it has been run, run, run so far. Nice play that time by one of the Oxford players we mentioned a moment ago, Brody Sire, crashing in from his outside linebacker spot to take down Davis for a short gain of a yard.
One of the tough things about Brody Sire is he is a very, very tough football player. And so we will see him a lot now on the defensive side. It really says a lot. He was a quarterback last year and will now help anchor that defense alongside Kenny Britt.
So 2nd down and 9 coming up now for the Golden Eagles. Oxford took their opening possession of the game, marched down, and the drive stalled inside the 20. Rhea County trying to score on their first possession. Pemberton rolling out, first pass attempt of the game. Nothing fancy, but they hit the receiver out in the flats. That was Mason Stevenson on the catch from Pemberton. And I tell you, when you can execute these short passing patterns along with that powerful running game, can be very frustrating for a defense.
Absolutely, and you don't know when it's coming, and that time quarterback just rolled out, hit the guy in the flats, and essentially what that turns into is what Oxford tried to do earlier with that little bubble screen. Just try to get the ball out into the flat and get your guys some yards, and sets up a perfect 3rd and short situation.
3rd and a yard. And they get it. Nice vision. Gerhard talked about the vision of these running backs. Christian Simon that time looked like he might be stuffed at the line of scrimmage, but he was patient and then found enough of a seam to pick up the first down. Well, the head coach, Rhea County, is Mark Pemberton. There's a look at Coach Pemberton. 22 seasons as a head coach, winning a state title back in 2008, played college football at Tennessee Tech in his 4th year at Rhea County. And the big story about Rhea County recently, back-to-back trips to the 5A state semifinals in the state of Tennessee. 2014, they went 13-1, did not lose till the semifinal round. So an outstanding, well-established program the Oxford Yellow Jackets are facing here tonight. Here's Mr. Davis. He has been a workhorse on this drive. He carries it for close to 6 yards inside the 15-yard line. And I tell you, everybody in this stadium knows what they're going to do, and Oxford still can't stop them so far.
Yeah, and they're not hiding it. They're not even changing their formation. You mentioned it earlier. They're not even flipping the tight end from the right side to the left side. It's the exact same formation. But when it's working as it has this drive, you just keep going to it. And the beauty of this kind of offense is that it eats up clock, and so far they're doing a fantastic job of that.
Here's the handoff to Davis. Kenny Britt's got him by the left hip and is able to drag him down, I believe, just short of the first down, but Davis gets very close, about a yard short of the first down.
Yeah, nice play here by Kenny Britt, just really kind of hanging on. He didn't have great position. Feet got kind of tangled up, but just held on, and Eddie Davis, a good running back, broke that tackle just a few plays ago. They're able to get the first down or come up really short, really close to the marker. 3rd and short
I can't imagine this Rhea County team and what we've seen so far not being in 4 down. I mean, 3rd and short, I can't imagine many times they're not going to go for this if they don't get it on 3rd down. And it looks like Oxford's going to give it to them.
Right. And when you have teams that run the football like they have run the football, and you talked about the surge that this offensive line has, the defense gets antsy to get at least a half a step ahead of that offensive line. And that time, the hard cadence got that Yellow Jacket defense to move up, and we will get this offsides penalty and mark it up for a 1st down.
You know, a lot of folks don't consider that a play call, but that's an outstanding job
really
there.
is.
I mean, you could tell that Rhea County knew what they were doing. They said, hey, let's see if we can make a mistake and give it to us. So they did the hard count and get them to jump. Then just one guy to jump, the whole front jump. So now they're set up 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. You know, another thing about their formation is, again, the offensive linemen, there's no split. And what I mean by that, there's no space between the linemen. They're lined up cleat to cleat. It's very hard to get any penetration when you cut down your splits like that. Most of the time, teams only go to that when they're inside the 10. Rhea County does it all throughout the field. And it shows you that they're winning the battle up front.
Right. And they have the offensive line to do it, and they have the tough physical guys up front, and then they just throw in that little waggle pass whenever they feel like it. 3rd and short, 2nd and short, and even on 1st down, they'll go to it. And you talked about how this team can be a 4-down team really whenever, just because of the fact that of the way they run their offense. The only time this kind of offense hurts you is if you play a team that's hot offensively and you get up 2 or 3 touchdowns. Then once you're down, this kind of offense really hurts you. But the way they're running right now, they look good.
2nd down and goal from the 3. Here's Davis, and he's close, but stood up and pushed back at about the 1-yard line by a host of Yellow Jacket defenders, led by number 61, William Muncher. So we see just bodies flying around.
Yeah.
And, you know, another thing that's impressive about Rhea County is these offensive linemen, which is a testament to how well they're coached. They stay with their blocks. They are staying with their blocks. And now it's a 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Not sure who got the ball that time, but it's a touchdown. The Golden Eagles cap off the drive with a 1-yard touchdown run. And they get on the scoreboard first. I guess it went to the fullback there with the first man there. Number 42, I believe, Chandler Kaler. I believe was a young man with the football.
You talked about it earlier, how there's so many bodies there, and that's the one deficit when you go down to the goal line. You really can't see.
Or maybe it was number 16, Mason Stevenson, right. I believe. All right, so the Golden Eagles will go for 2. And we may have illegal procedure against the offense here. A lot of flags in the first game, a lot of flags so far in this first quarter, and that is not unusual at all when you've got 2 teams that have had very few practices to get ready for this game. And then when you also have officials who are calling pretty tight, because again, this is almost a clinic and a spring training for them as well, as
right.
Mark Jones talked about with John Holder. Great opportunity for the officials to hone their craft in a game-like atmosphere as well. There you see Ryan Herring, the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets. He played at Oxford. His dad, legendary coach at Oxford, leading Oxford to 3 state championships during his career at Oxford. And Coach Herring beginning his 4th season at the helm of Oxford. A very uncharacteristic season for Oxford last year, going 3-7. You know, they want to get back to what they're used to doing at Oxford, and that's winning, getting to the playoffs.
Absolutely, and going deep into those playoffs is what Oxford is used to. Let's see how this defense handles the 2-point conversion.
Pemberton with a pass back to number 42, Chandler Kaler. I tried to give him credit for the touchdown a moment ago. I can give him credit for the 2-point play here. This is a well-designed play, as it looked like everything was going to the right. They come back to the left, only one defender there, and boy, they sealed the corner, kicked him out and sealed the corner, and it was a well-executed 2-point play.
Typically, offensive coordinators will script the first 15 plays. I don't know who scripted the first 150 plays, but so far for Rhea County, it was good. And ended off with a great note there. 2 passes on that play. You're seeing the drive there. 15 plays, 83 yards, chewed up 7 minutes and 40 seconds. That's close to a quarter in Alabama high school football. And that right there is what you would love to see if you're Coach Mark Pemberton every drive out. And obviously, you don't get that, but if you were to ask a coach's dream, you're seeing it right there on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know many coaches that won't take that type of scoring drive anytime. The Sierra Ford scoring drive for Rhea County. Oxford now, can the Jackets answer? Jordan Swain, now that's his 3rd carry, and Gerhardt, he's had big yardage on all of his carries, on 3 of his carries so far tonight. It's not like Oxford didn't move the ball on their first possession. Their drive stalled as they turned it over on downs, but their offense has been sitting on the side, cooling off here for the last 7 so minutes.
Right, and you know they were itching to get back out there and stick one into the end zone. They got really close late. A couple passes to Jacoby McClendon. Had they gone a little bit differently, they would have punched one in. We'll see here what the Oxford offense wants to do, and they'll go with Swain.
And why not? Rhea County has been unable to stop Jordan Swain. And the Jackets' consecutive first downs on long runs by Swain. Great blocking up front by that Oxford offensive line.
It's incredible blocking. And we talked about the Rhea County philosophy going click to cleat, really no splits. A little bit almost the opposite for Oxford. They really widened their splits out and really forced the defense to defend the entire field. But right there, 2 plays in a row, Jordan Swain just going right up the middle.
So 1st and 10 for the Jackets is just like that in 2 plays there at the Rhea County 36. Peoples will keep it himself, tries to get around the corner, and will be slung down for a big loss. Davis was the first man there. And then finishing up for Rhea County was number 35, Alex Barton.
That's the 2nd time we've seen Davis making a great play. First on the inside, and now this time to the outside, not letting Peoples get to the corner. And really, had he got to the corner, there was about 3 or 4 Eagles there on the other side, and we are seeing Eddie Davis, the Iron Man so far of this Eagle football team. I would love to see what kind of shape he's in, because if he plays both sides of the ball the way he has, he does that for 10, 12, 15 games for this Rhea County team. I mean, he's getting a lot of work in. He's a great football player for Coach Pemberton.
3-yard loss that time, 2nd and 13. Rhea County, I believe, came across the line of scrimmage too early. Number 44, Jay Graham, was lined up on the left end, and he leaned across the goal line, and I believe that's what brought out the flag. It will be a 5-yard offsides penalty against the Golden Eagles. So that'll help out the Jackets. They'll get that 3 yards they lost back, plus 2. Make it 2nd down and 8.
We heard Coach Wade Waldrop at the James Clements game talk about penalties, and that's another thing that coaches really harp on in these spring games, because penalties creep back up in the fall. You make them in the spring, and those are habits and patterns and behavior patterns that continue into the fall. So you want to see a good, clean football. So far, 3 offensive or 3 false starts or offsides by either team.
Quarterback keeper, Peoples, nice cut. Peoples inside the 10. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets.
That's what they were trying to set up just 2 plays ago, and this time we talked about the vision from the Rhea County backs, but look at the People's vision there, virtually untouched on his way to the end zone.
Made basically 4 defenders, just left him in his tracks there. Nice job by Peoples, putting on the speed there. And Oxford lining up or staying in a huddle as though they're going to go for 2 here.
That's probably one of the reasons why Peoples will get the nod here at quarterback, is because he gives them a very, very good running threat. And Brody Sire did it too as well last year. Very tough running threat, but we're seeing the athleticism from Nate Peoples.
Pitch back to Swain, and he is cut down short of the goal line. So Rhea County comes up with a stop on the 2-point try. And that'll make it 8-6. Rhea County keeps the lead as we get another look at the touchdown run by Abe Peoples.
Great block there on the outside. Jacob Sears, a wide receiver, coming up big there for the Oxford Yellow Jackets, but a great individual play by Abe Peoples, 5 plays, 70 yards, a minute 55, almost polar opposite from the drive we just saw from Ray County.
Both these scoring drives basically illustrate the distinction in styles for both of these teams.
Right. And we can see both are effective in different ways. One chewing up clock, the other one getting up and down the field really fast. And they both had their positives, they both had their negatives. And also you give up something. In football, if you're defending one thing, you're giving up something else. And so both sides really showing effectiveness in the way they run their offense.
Good shot a moment ago. The Oxford band in attendance tonight. Really glad that the Oxford band was able to pull together here at the end of the school year and bring their instruments and be a part of the atmosphere at JSU Stadium tonight. Short gain on that play of 2 yards, and that may be the final play of the first quarter. And we just get an update from the OVC softball tournament. Good news, Gamecock fans. JSU up over Eastern Kentucky 7-0 right now.
Absolutely, and top of the 5th inning there, so they can close it out here, get 6 more outs. They'll be on their way to playing tomorrow, and what that means would be a shot at the OVC championship.
Oh, great pressure that time by the Jacket defense. Coming through there first was number 3, Janito Allen. And the quarterback that time, Pemberton, really never had a chance to set his feet. Big loss there. It'll set up a 3rd and long when we come back for the second quarter. A good first 12 minutes so far in this matchup between Oxford and Ray County out of Tennessee. Golden Eagles right now with an 8-6 lead. We'll continue with our live coverage of the Gridiron Challenge from JSU in just a moment.
Savings is proud to bring you Kasasa. What's Kasasa? It's like never getting surprised by an ATM fee. Bank local and we'll refund your ATM fees nationwide. That's free Kasasa checking. Ask for free Kasasa checking at Family Savings Credit Union.
Downey Drug has been your pharmacy leader for over 40 years, and we are regularly voted Best Pharmacy and Pharmacist by the readers of the Anniston Star. At Downey Drug, our customers are also our friends and neighbors, and we sincerely care about your health. That's why we are dedicated to personal service every day with every customer. And now, introducing Easy Meds, medication management made simple. Call us and find out more. Downey Drug, your pharmacy leader with 2 locations to serve.
And welcome back at JSU Stadium, the Gridiron Challenge, as the Oxford High School marching bands, we mentioned a moment ago, they're in attendance tonight. And they sound like they're in midseason form already as they are playing here in this Gridiron Challenge matchup between the Jackets and the Golden Eagles. And Ray County with an 8-6 lead get the football back. So Gerhard, let's see if Ray County or Oxford has figured out a way to slow down this rushing attack for the Golden Eagles, and not a good start on this play as play was defended pretty well, but I believe they're going to get a face mask call against the Jacket defense.
Yep, for the first time, the Jacket defense will commit a face mask penalty, and I would suggest or believe that Ray County will get a lot of those just because their backs run so low to the ground, and really guys that are just grabbing at anything, and you grab a lot of face masks in these situations with these kind of teams that run this power football, low to the ground football, low center of gravity, and that's exactly what it is here for the Oxford defense. So it brings up a 3rd down. We'll take another look at it, and yeah, it looks like you got him there. It's a marked 5. I don't know if it's enough to draw the flag. It almost looks like he batted the face mask, not grabbed the face mask.
I may have got it, but I didn't see it. Great look too by our guys in the truck.
Phenomenal look. If you watch the way the Ray County running backs line up behind the quarterback, they'll do it by wingspan. That's how close they are.
And quarterback, Zach Pemberton, raises up and signals for a timeout. So didn't like what he saw there before the snap on that play. So they will talk it over on the sideline.
And this is a big play for them. You know, 3rd and medium. Now, do you go to the air here? Do you run the football? These down and distances can't be good for these kind of teams, and I'm sure they've run a lot of situational football, and this is one of the situations where on a football Friday night, we'll see how they handle it.
And Gerhard, there we see the newest addition to the Oxford coaching staff. Ryan Herring made a big hire during the offseason when he brought Lee Osmond over from Glencoe. And he is the defensive coordinator now for the Yellow Jackets. And that was a hire that turned a lot of heads in the offseason.
It really did. And it turned a lot of heads really across the state of Alabama, because he was one of the premier coaches in Class 3A. Had Glencoe so close to a Super 6, to a Super 7 berth with the Yellow Jackets. We'll have more on that in just a second.
Pemberton, well-designed play as he finds his tight end, Mason Stevenson, open again, but another flag on the play. It would have been a first down. It gained about 6 yards, but we've got to check the penalty.
As they talk about it, we'll quickly go back to Coach Lee Osmond. He was one of the premier coaches in Class 3A football. Had Glencoe yards, seconds away from a berth in the state semifinals. They lost to Madison Academy. It's a great look at him right there, but he's a guy that brings head coaching experience to this staff, which you can't get enough of. He was one of the guys that was in charge of the Glencoe defensive unit, even as the head coach, as the guy overseeing the program. He was really had his teeth and his hands in the defense, and so with this Oxford defense now getting head coaching focus and teaching and coaching, he's one of the better teachers and coaches of this game. I think the Oxford defense will only benefit largely from his presence on that sideline. And so far, doing pretty good here, adjusting after that first drive by the Golden Eagles.
His defense called for holding, so the 5-yard mark-off gives Ray County a first down. Give right up the middle to the fullback, Mason Stevenson. As he bulls forward for about 3 yards to up to the 46-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Mason Stevenson, he is in game form with the wardrobe. I mean, he's got everything going. He's got the socks, he's got the crop top. Full-fledged here. And this is what you love about spring football when you schedule these kind of games. You have that juice and that intensity of football Friday night in the fall.
So 2nd down and 7 for Ray County. Here is Davis. Again, good patience there by the Ray County running backs as they're able to wait on those blocks to materialize, and Davis darts forward for close to first down yardage. They're going to mark him about a half yard short.
It's like when baseball players wait for that curveball. There's a certain discipline that it takes to not just go swing at it. There's a certain discipline that these running backs have to have with this offense, because a lot of these plays really are slowly developing, and the blocks will be there and the holes will come alive, but you have to wait for it. And Davis does a good job there. Stevens has done a great job of it before as well.
3rd and short, and not much that time for Ray County, but they didn't need much. I believe they're going to have the first down at about the Oxford 46-yard line, and it is a first down as the Golden Eagles continue their march here with an 8-6 lead in a game presented by Family Health and Wellness Center down in Oxford. Appreciate their sponsorship of this Gridiron Challenge matchup between the Yellow Jackets and the Golden Eagles.
Good look there at Zach Pemberton. Looks to be a great field general for the Golden Eagles.
Nice defensive stand there as Cam Lemons coming up and putting a lick on Simon. But then you look up and it's a 3-yard gain. It's kind of deceiving because you think you've made a stop behind the line of scrimmage and the running backs fall forward for almost 4 yards.
Exactly. When you get in these kind of offenses, they teach so much to fall forward, and we see all the great running backs fall forward, and that's another one of the things that this team has to do. You have to gain every single little inch, and so just like that, what looks like a stuff ends up being a positive gain.
Second down. Pemberton throws and hits his big tight end who we spotlighted in the open, Jared Edwards, who is the biggest recruit on this Rhea County team. He has 13 offers, Gerhard, including one from Jacksonville State. They're after this young man as well.
And you can see why. He is a big body. He's got great hands. Looks like he's got soft hands, can catch the ball really out of lineman stance. And I'm pretty sure even if they did go wide open, he can go to the outside as well. But he fits this offense so perfectly because his body's so big, and he works basically as an extra tackle for this team in the run game.
6'4", 250. Big hole this time, and taken down just short of the goal line is Mason Stevenson. Is Oxford's Desmond Cooley saved a touchdown, but again, nothing fancy, just a give right up the middle to the fullback.
Yeah, we talked about the big tight end earlier, Jared Edwards. First they threw to him, and then they ran behind him. You can't see it in those tight shots, but he opened up a huge hole along with the guard and the tackle along the right side of that offensive line, and a phenomenal job there by Stevenson, just finding the hole and getting to the outside. And really, we've seen it hit 3 different ways. We've seen it with Stevenson. We've also seen it with Eddie Davis. This team is phenomenal as far as running the football. They could do it so many different ways.
First and goal for Rhea County. And they are in the end zone again for the touchdown. Went to the fullback, Mason Stevenson. That is his second touchdown. He has both scores coming on basically the same play. 1 yard runs right up the middle. And Rhea County completes another time-consuming, very impressive drive here against this Oxford defense.
That time ate up a little more chunks of yardage throughout the course of the series, but 2 series, 2 scores, and you really did it on the back of a phenomenal offensive line and really versatile running with all 3 running backs getting in the mix. That time, Davis and Stevenson carried the load with a little bit of Jared Edwards in the passing game.
Pemberton, no one open, and he'll be sacked by Brody Sire. So Oxford stops him on the 2-point play. It'll remain 14-6. Rhea County extends their lead. Let's go down to the field now, and back once again this year for the Gridiron Challenge, John Holders, we've got those ever popular Pigskin Roundup t-shirts.
Pigskin Roundup touchdown t-shirts. There are 26 Oxford cheerleaders, and we have 28 shirts to give out. So we're going to give out these touchdown t-shirts right now in just a second, guys. 3, 2, 1, throw them, ladies. About 30 touchdown t-shirts handing out here at JSU Stadium. Popular item, guys.
All right, appreciate that, John. Yeah, everyone loves a free t-shirt. We'll be throwing those out all day tomorrow and Monday night as well. 1st and 10, Oxford now, their 3rd possession of the game. Jacob Sears is in the game at tailback. Sears made another position change in the offseason. He's an upcoming senior, played at safety last year on defense. They moved him over to offense as a receiver, and here he gets his first carry of the game as a running back.
Yeah, he's got a great body. He's a tall kid, but he's also really strong and really physical. And last year he made a lot of plays as a wide receiver in the big play passing game when they had the former quarterback Brody Sears in there.
2nd down and 7 for the Jackets. High snap. Peoples did a good job just to field the high snap and tried to make something out of it, but Rhea County was all over that play. Chandler Kaler there to take Peoples to the turf, and there you see the snap just kind of disrupted that play from the get-go. Yeah,
and it's a great job there by Peoples not to try to force it into Jordan Swain's hands, because at that point you're risking a fumble. You're also risking just a muff between the quarterback and the running back there. Good job there by Peoples, just protecting the ball and live to sing another play.
So 3rd down and 6, possession play for the Jackets. If they want to answer the Ray County score, they got to come up with a big play here. Peoples elects to run it, and he's going to have enough for the first down as he is gang tackled at the 40-yard line, but Peoples gets just enough to keep the chains moving.
Whenever you see quarterbacks that drop back and have nothing, and you see something wide open and they wear number 2, the first thing you think of is Johnny Manziel, and that's a lot of what he kind of reminds me of, a guy that can run the football really, really, really well. So we'll see how he progresses, because like we said, this is the first time that he's getting the starts. Last year, obviously, Brody got most of the starts and Brody got most of the plays, especially as a healthy quarterback, and then Peoples got in there when Sire suffered a couple injuries. So we'll see how Peoples does it with the load now all on him as play stops once again for a penalty.
Well, Coach Herring not going to be happy about that call. You just pick up a first down, then you have an offensive infraction that'll cost you. Well, actually, this is against the Ray County defense, so that'll make Coach Herring happy. Offsides against the Golden Eagles. That'll make it 1st and 5, Oxford at the 45. Quick moving game, mainly because of the time-consuming drives from Ray County. We're already down to just about 6.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Not sure what the coaches finally decided before the game, but coming into the game, we're expecting 2 12-minute varsity quarters, then a 12-minute junior varsity quarter. So we may be entering the final minutes of the varsity matchup in this game. 1st and 5, Peoples connects on the slant pass to number 25, Hareem Everett, which is one of only 3 returning starters. I should say 4 returning starters on this Oxford offense.
We saw this play on drive number 1. Try to go to that to Jacoby McClendon, that exact same play, and it looked like they found another weapon to go to on that little slip screen is usually what I call it, when the receiver literally just cuts right into the defense and then catches the ball about 2 or 3 yards in, and right there Everett does a pretty good job.
First down, Oxford now at the Ray County 45. Oxford 3 possessions. They've been in Ray County territory all 3 times. This time, Jordan Swain just tripped up by Bradley Evans, or that play might have gone for much more yardage. Instead, it's only a gain of 2.
Good look at the defense for the Golden Eagles, and you know that each and every day they see that offense that we've seen score 2 different drives, and so this gang is battle tested.
2nd down and 8. Swain right up the middle, bulls his way into the Ray County secondary. Hard running by Jordan Swain. Picks up another Yellow Jacket first down at the 25. Just look at this right there. Just would not go down. Good hard running by Swain.
If you make a list of things that have been impressive so far, you take a look at guys like Eddie Davis and Stevenson from Ray County, and the number 1 player so far for Oxford, in my opinion, is Jordan Swain. He's done it from the outside, he's done it from the inside, and right there he just showed some straight power to run through a defender for the Golden Eagles. I am really, really surprised by what Jordan Swain is doing as a rising junior, and pretty sure he will get a lot of carries starting in August.
You know, there are a lot of Oxford fans not familiar with Ray County, but I did find one Oxford fan before the game who knew a lot about Ray County. This is an interesting little tidbit. Those of you who are familiar with Larry Davidson, longtime basketball coach at Oxford, now the athletic director. I was in the 10th grade when he came to coach at Oxford. I was on his first basketball team at Oxford, and he came from the Chattanooga, Tennessee area.
Right.
Well, he told me before the game that his school played Ray County all throughout his high school years. So he very familiar with Ray County, being from that area. So I was able to find one Oxford fan who knew something about Ray County, and it's athletic director Larry Davidson. So there you go.
6 degrees of separation. I mean, you can cut it down about 3 degrees when it comes to athletics, and Coach Davidson, a name synonymous with Oxford athletics. So he knew this program really well coming in, and now the 2016 Oxford Yellow Jackets know Ray County.
Well, when you're as old as Coach Davidson is, you know everybody. So, you know, hey. Jordan Swain, first down carry for about a 5-yard pickup down near the 20. So here we go, down near about 5 minutes left in what could be the final quarter of the varsity matchup. Oxford down by 8, so a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and both teams would leave with a tie.
Yep, and I think from Oxford's perspective, you would have to love that, because the first drive you got all the way down to inside about the 25-yard line, not able to punch it in, and then you took a punch from Ray County, you gave one, you took one, and then see if they can give one back right here.
It's interesting, too. Kenny Britt getting a lot of action on both sides of the line of scrimmage. He's lined up a lot tonight as a blocking tight end. He's in the game now. This time the pass attempt incomplete. Yes, Peoples was trying to connect with Dave Russell. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 5, but clearly the Jackets got to be in 4-down territory here at the 20-yard line.
Right. And we talked about how Eddie Davis for Ray County goes both ways. You brought up a good point there with Kenny Britt. He's coming off the field as we speak right now, but to see a 6A school and to see a 5A school in Ray County use their caliber players the way that they do, you don't see that a lot in some of these upper echelon types of schools. You don't see a lot of the premier guys going both ways. Really shows their diligence to the game.
Swain cuts back to the left and is taken down from behind by number 42, Chandler Kaler, about 2 yards short of the 1st down. So it will be a 4th and 2 coming up for Oxford. And there's Coach Larry Davidson. And by the way, to his right is Wayne Livingston, who was the longtime junior high football coach at Oxford High School back when Coach Burgess coached at Oxford. So Coach Davidson and Coach Livingston and taking in the action.
Right. They've seen a lot of Yellow Jacket football over the years, and obviously now with the vested interest, both those coaches have done a phenomenal job serving that school and that community, and you're one of the products of that community.
Jordan Swain, boy, he took a shot, but hey, as you mentioned, good running backs fall forward, and Swain was knocked off his feet, but he landed in the right direction, which gave him a 1st down.
Yeah, it's a good athletic play there, good physical play by the Ray County defense, and it's one thing that coaches will always harp on is, yes, you can get the pop, but if the guy falls forward, it's like you didn't make the play at all. So Chase Suttles will quickly learn to wrap up there, but just a phenomenal effort by Jordan Swain.
Peoples on the quarterback keeper. Nice gain for the Jackets as Peoples gets inside the 10-yard line before his forward progress is halted there by Ray County's Dylan Lewis. So a gain of about 6 yards for Oxford will make it 2nd down and a short 4 coming up.
Good job there of gang tackling by the Ray County defense, and really when the defense has succeeded for both of these teams, that's what we've seen. We've seen lots of hats on the football. And for Ray County moving forward, that's what you want to see out of your defense. And if you're Oxford, you mentioned at the top of the telecast, you won't see a lot of teams that run what Ray County runs, but same philosophy goes.
Here's Swain right up the middle. He's in for the touchdown. So Jordan Swain has had himself an outstanding spring game here tonight. Finally gets rewarded with a touchdown as Oxford pulls to within a deuce here, Gerhard, with a 2-point play coming up.
Absolutely, and no doubt about it right there. And that's an interesting play call there by the Oxford coaching staff. Instead of going out of shotgun, they went there under center and they tossed it. So really giving Jordan Swain a head of steam even before he got the football. We saw what it ended up with, an Oxford touchdown and a chance to tie this ball game up.
All right, so a timeout on the field. Oxford talking over the all-important 2-point play here. Chance to tie the game. What do you think the call is going to be? Number 8 going to get it?
I was going to say probably number 8, and now you have to wonder, do you go back to the same play that you just scored on, getting Peoples under center and getting Jordan Swain the ball on a toss? Either that, or I won't be surprised if they try to go back to the outside in that little slip screen route to either Jacoby McClendon or Hareem Everett.
You know, Gerhard, obviously we've got a good number of Oxford fans here tonight, but just looking out over the stands here at JSU Stadium, there are a lot of Ray County fans here. And the reason I know that, I'm smart here, see a lot of green shirts.
It's a good indicator.
It's got to be Ray County, right?
That's a great indicator, and you're right. There are a lot of fans out here from the Ray County area, and to watch a spring game shows you their level of support for their team, driving up on a Friday night, most of them coming off work, coming down to Alabama and catching what's been a really, really good football game.
There you see some of the green shirts in the stands tonight.
Yep.
All right, here we go. 2-point conversion for the Jackets. Peoples, hands off to Swain. He's in for the touchdown. So you called it, Gerhard. Give it to number 8. As he gets the touchdown, gets the 2-point play. And we are tied at 14 apiece with 2:45 to play in our second quarter.
And it's funny because really both offenses have been successful when they run their quarterback under center and they hand their ball off to the running back. Really, Jordan Swain has been phenomenal both ways, both out of the gun and out of the under center formation. So far, so good for the Oxford offense. And really, if you say take away the first drive, but you don't have to take away the first drive because that first drive was really good for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. So 3 drives that you'll live with on any given Friday night.
Well, this kind of looks like a Ray County scoring drive.
It does. It does. 15 plays, 70 yards, shoot up just over 5 minutes of time. And when you have a running game like the way Oxford does and you have a running back like Jordan Swain, you're going to see a lot of those. And so far, the Oxford Yellow Jackets have kind of found their go-to guy when it comes to the ground.
All right, let's see what Ray County can do, Gerhard, in the final 2 minutes and 45 seconds of what we think is the final varsity quarter that will be played between these two teams. We shall see after this. We're not sure what the coaches finally decided to do. Football's on the ground, and the Jackets have it. Big number 58, that is Blake Carter. Saw that ball skipping on the artificial turf here at JSU, and he's able to pounce on it, and our first turnover of this game, and it is a big one.
It is. I mean, this is the only time that you couldn't turn the ball over in this game, and Christian Simon had a good run earlier for the Golden Eagles, but there with a costly mistake, and give a whole lot of credit to the whole Oxford defense that was there. And then, of course, right there, Blake coming up with the football and putting the Oxford Yellow Jackets in phenomenal field position. And they could chew up as much time as they want to here and see if they can come away with a win in the varsity portion of this game.
Well, due to the turnover, Jackets have an excellent chance to come out of here with a win if they can score points here in the final 2.5 minutes. Peoples calling out the signals, leaves it with Swain, and he's going to be taken down from behind for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. And guess who? Number 20 there again.
Yep, Eddie Davison. He's been the guy that has been the leader of this defense, and he's been making plays, and he attacks the line of scrimmage. And when you know that you have a great running back like Jordan Swain there, you would figure that the offense will go back to him. So a little anticipatory there, and good job there by Eddie Davis.
So 2nd down and 13 now for the Jackets as the clock continues to move, but see what the Jackets go to here on 2nd and 13. Back to the ground game. Swain gets the yardage back he lost, plus a couple of more as he dives down to the 18. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 coming up for Oxford. Obviously, the Jackets at this point in the game in 4-down territory.
Really mixing and matching up a lot of the ways they line up Peoples. We've seen him both under center and in shotgun, and it looks like over the last maybe 6 to 10 plays, when he's under center, it works out a lot better with Jordan Swain coming back from about 5 yards out with a nice bit of a head start. Here, they'll go under center and give Swain a fullback.
3rd down and 8. 2 tight end set. They pitch it to Swain. He's got some room. Cuts it up and is very close to a 1st down. Boy, Swain hit that hole hard. Got a good block on the corner, but I believe he's just short. If he is, it'll set up a 4th down for the Jackets.
This play's been really, really effective for Oxford. Going with a toss, had the lead blocker out there, big number 21, Jacoby Calloway. And we saw what was an iffy face mask penalty earlier, and there it looks like if you're going to call the one in the first quarter, right there it looked it, but it's a great job there by the running back, and I'm saying a good shot there of Coach Osment and Coach Herring, both head coaches of Yellow Jackets earlier, and now on the same sideline with the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
Coach Herring calling for time before the play. It is 4th and a yard. The Jackets football is spotted just inside the 11. They've got to reach the 10. So the clock stopped with 22 seconds, Gerhard. So if this is indeed the final varsity quarter, you wonder about a field goal try here because they've got their kicker back from last year. Keaton Borelli is returning as a senior, and he's an outstanding kicker. It's a very makeable field goal for Borelli. But again, we hate to keep saying this, we're not sure exactly what the coaches decided on. They may, the varsity players may play more in a third period. We just don't know yet. Typically what happens, we think that's what they're going to do, and if that's what normally a lot of teams do, and they treat each quarter as a half. So this would essentially be the end of the second half, the end of the game.
Right. And
so you wonder why about a field goal?
Exactly, and you can also see it with the clock management here with Coach Herring. That would also make a lot of sense too, if this is the last 22 seconds that this varsity does play. So we'll see the way they handle it coming up later, but looks like maybe 2 plays, I would say, Mickey, from here. Maybe get the ball to the middle of the field if you want to set up a field goal. See what they do here. They run this heavy set right here. Look a little bit like Ray County with this formation.
Obviously going for it on 4th and a yard. Here's Swain, and he is stuffed, but he got it. He didn't need much, and he got about 1.5 yards, which is enough for the first down. They'll spot him at the 9-yard line. So 1st and goal. Clock stops while they move the chains with 17 seconds to play in the second quarter, second half, if you will.
Nice job there by Chandler Kaler, the linebacker for Ray County, but comes up about 1/2 yard too short as Swain gets the first down.
Peoples throws up high toward the end zone to McClendon, who cannot come down with it. Looked like he had a shot at it. He had beaten the defender, who was closing quickly. Looked like the pass, Gerhard just hung up a little bit too long. It enabled the defensive back, Logan Hall, to catch up and defend the play.
Right, and we saw Oxford run this a lot when Tredarian Gamble was a playmaker for this football team. Really just take your most athletic guy and just get him out, corner, fade route, try to get him up there. And Jacoby McClendon is also a basketball player. He can dunk the ball just about any which way that you would expect, and so he's a guy that can get up there. He's favoring that right hip. I think he came down on it wrong, so they'll check him out there with 9 seconds to go.
Here's a pitch to Swain, and Swain cannot turn the corner. Excellent job there by Ray County's Alex Barton. He took on the block, fought through the block, and was able to get low and knock Swain off his feet. Great play there by Barton.
Every day defenders work on that. You work on shedding your block and getting up and making the play, and that's just picture-perfect offense. Not a bad block there on the outside by Jacob Sears, but just a better defensive effort.
And that takes us to the end of the second quarter, tied at 14. So we will see how the coaches elect to move forward. We see both coaches now headed to the center of the field to talk things over, Coach Herring and Coach Pemberton. So we'll take a break and continue with our live coverage of the Gridiron Challenge in just a moment.
Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Oxford Secure Storage has now expanded with over 140 units. Oxford Secure Storage now has the largest selection of climate-controlled units in the area. All sizes, both climate and non-climate controlled units, are available with state-of-the-art amenities. All access ways are paved and under 24-hour high-tech surveillance. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will help you through the entire rental process. Come see for yourself the extra measures Oxford Secure Storage takes for your security.
Pa, will you tell me the story about Colonel Sanders and how he saved fried chicken forever by making it the hard way, which means using fresh whole chickens from American farms?
A milk and egg wash, hand breading in a slow, fast food patented pressure frying process that takes no less than 25 minutes. And how cantankerous, fastidious, and handsome he was, Daddy?
Daddy,
Okay.
see you when the rooster crows.
Kernel quality guaranteed.
Sure, it seems like there are tons of decisions to be made as you start down your college path. The good news is Gadsden State can help. Online, on the phone, or in person at the new One Stop Center in Gadsden. How much can I save? What career is perfect for me? Help with everything from admissions to financial aid. And when all the answers point towards saving money close to home, you'll see why so many decide to make their first stop, Gadsden State.
Okay, guys, I talked with Ryan Herring, Oxford head coach. He said the two coaches agreed to play it just like it was normally playing, a 12-minute JV quarter here, and then that will be it. There was supposed to be a 10-minute break. They're not taking, obviously, they're playing right now. Not going to take that 10-minute break. They're going to roll right on. So these are JVs, guys, for a full 12-minute regular quarter, and then we will be done.
All right, thanks, John. And so, hey, great varsity matchup there in those two quarters. 14-14 the score. And I think, obviously, as both coaches would want in a spring game, they see a lot of positives, a lot of things they're going to want to work on. But two very contrasting styles here in this matchup between Ray County and Oxford. And very entertaining two quarters of football for these two teams. So now they turn it over to the junior varsity guys. Now Gerhard, an opportunity for some of the, I say young kids, a lot of young kids were playing on the varsity quarters, but some of the younger kids to get some experience and play a little football here in this great venue at Jacksonville State.
Right, and I think more importantly what it does for a lot of these guys and what it does for the coaches of these JV guys, it says, this is your time to earn your time in the fall, to earn positions in the fall. If a guy goes down, if a guy gets hurt, we need to rely on his backup. You are having a chance now to show that you can be a backup, and you will have no better time than right now under Friday night conditions here in the spring game.
Obviously a lot of new players in the game, and we'll try to get those numbers and names to you. Brandon Hunt on the carry that time for Ray County, picks up about 4 yards. Big day of football coming up tomorrow. We'll be on the air live at 9 a.m. bright and early. Wake up, get your coffee going, and some interesting matchups to get the day started tomorrow, Gerhard, before we get into more of the traditional teams. Some of the teams will be playing tomorrow that folks are familiar with, such as St. Clair County, Hanley, Jacksonville is playing in it this year. Right. We've got Anniston and Leeds playing again. But talk about some of those early games that folks will see as we see a turnover here, or they may have said the runner was down.
Yeah, it looks like they'll mark the runner down. But yes, going to tomorrow, the 9 o'clock games is a very, very interesting setup if you're a high school football fan, because we will see a lot of the really strong talent out of 8-man football. Evangel Christian Academy, Evangel Christian Family, and Kingwood Academy out of Alabaster, and the other two Evangels are both out of Montgomery. And what you'll see there is a different brand of football, different style of football, because it is 8-man, but what they have done with their programs is really create just a strong, solid unit, and a lot of these schools will play each other. So you'll see different quality of football player. Now, obviously, the game is still the same, but the technique is a little bit different. The play calling is a little bit different. So if you're a football fan, wake up bright and early tomorrow and see a different style of football than you're used to seeing Friday to Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be a novelty. It'll be interesting. We've never had 8-man football in the Gridiron Challenge before, so that'll be a first. Those 3 games will take place tomorrow morning between about 9 and 10:30 or so, before we get into some of the more traditional East Alabama teams that will be playing tomorrow. And then, of course, the Gridiron Challenge continues on Monday night. Then we've got the Calhoun County Jamboree next Thursday and Friday with the county schools that will be competing here. So a lot of spring football. It's coming up over the next week. School is about to let out. Graduations will be taking place next week. So this is kind of the final taste of football to get us ready for the fall before everybody takes that summer break.
Right. It's almost like just nibbling on the dessert right before you get to your vegetables, and then the part of the meal that is not always as fun with the summer workouts and two-a-days and all that before we get cranked back up into the fall and the competition and when it all counts. Good job there by the Oxford defense, holding up on second down, creating a 3rd and very short. Once again, this JV running back for the Golden Eagles falling forward, setting up a 3rd and short, and looks like they'll go ahead and mark it. Yep, they will. They will go ahead and mark it for 1st down. They won't even measure it. So it had 3rd and short on the marker, and 1st down.
All right, 1st and 10, Ray County at the Oxford 35. Nice play fake there. Even better defensive play that time by the Oxford defense as number 35, Richard Cantrell, came over to make the stop on the quarterback, Logan Hall, who looked like was going to be able to turn the corner.
That was 6 had Cantrell not been there, and Cantrell doing a very good job because that's exactly what you want to do as a backside defender. If the quarterback rolls out one way, and even if he fakes it, he might fake it 10 times, but on that 11th time, he might keep the ball, and there he's doing a really good job because there was nothing but green grass there. So Cantrell not only doing a good job of getting in position, but also making the play.
So 2nd down and 9 for the Golden Eagles, junior varsity team. Handoff over the left side to Chris Sturgeon. And Sturgeon stumbles inside 30 to about the 28. It'll set up a 3rd and short. And you can tell the junior varsity's been practicing with the varsity because nothing much has changed since these young players have come in.
It really hasn't. And the play calling hasn't changed. And just the level of intensity and execution has been about the same across the board. So Ray County fans have a lot to cheer for on Monday nights or Tuesday nights, whatever they say, play the JV games, and then also on Friday nights as well.
3rd down and about 2.5. And that is Al Velasco getting the 1st down yardage inside the 20. That'll move the chains, and Ray County's drive continues here by the junior varsity.
Just look at that surge, and we talked once again about the vision of these running backs, and there he does a great job. And Velasco, the rising junior, looking to get some reps with the varsity, and that's one of the things about this team is they have a lot of rising juniors on this team. So this unit right here that you're seeing that are sophomores right now can also get a lot of playing time in 2016, but looks really solid for 2017.
Good defensive play this time by the Yellow Jacket defense as Danico Tanner was there to meet the back Chris Sturgeon before he could get going. So not much of a gain at all. And, you know, that's what coaches want to do at the high school level. They want to establish their program with the younger kids coming, not just in junior varsity and junior high, but even in recreationally. You like to see kids running the same type of stuff they're going to run on eventually on varsity so that by the time they get there, they know what's going on.
Right.
Makes a big difference.
Right. It's huge because when you have a kid that already knows half the playbook, half the terminology, in half of the scheme and the philosophy, and then especially on defense, the assignments and the alignments, I mean, you're already ahead of the curve as far as teaching goes.
Oh, great job coming from behind. Tanner once again putting a lick on Logan Hall. You see Hall kind of rolling out to his right. Doesn't see Tanner bearing down on him from behind.
That's perfect backside defense right there. And we talked earlier about the discipline to stay at home on the backside. And then that time when they do commit to running on one way, you just go as hard as you can. And, you know, Coach Lee Osmond's got to like that defensive effort out of his group. And Tanner doing a good job as you see Coach Pemberton talking to his backup quarterback there saying, good job of holding on to the football, but we got to execute that a little bit better.
Oxford hadn't even had the ball yet in this junior varsity quarter, already under 5 minutes to play in the quarter. Chance to stop them here on 3rd and 15, and a flag coming in from the back judge. Delay of game has got to be the call. That is the call. So that'll make it even more challenging. It'll be 3rd and 20 now for Ray County at the Oxford 28-yard line. Did we mention the JSU softball final? I know I was told during the break. I don't think I did mention that.
We have not mentioned the final.
JSU won. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys in the truck. 12-0. 12-0 JSU softball Big win tonight.
Incredible. That's incredible. And, you know, they're taking one step closer towards that goal of a championship. It looks like we'll get a pass interference here. Well defended early on. A lot of black jerseys in the area, but they will get one of the defensive backs there. You'll see a good look of it right here on the play action pass. A lot of black jerseys, exactly the position you want to be in it. And, you know,
That's a tough call.
It really is.
Jalen Wills is the young man called for the flag, and it looked like he just went up high to try to knock it down. And what makes it even more frustrating is didn't even have to. If he did interfere, didn't even have to. The pass wasn't even catchable. So a tough break by the Oxford defense here. Big penalty against the Jackets. We get another look at it here. Yeah, there's a little bump there.
With the body, right. With the chest.
That's going to be called in this game.
Right.
Maybe not in the fall.
Exactly.
But tonight, yes, it's going to be called.
Right. And we're seeing the way the officials are calling this game, and they have coaches and captains meetings beforehand and let them know the way that the game will flow and the way that they'll call the game. So I'm sure both coaches were privy to the way this game was called. But as you said, on Friday night, that, especially like in a deep week 8, week 9 playoff game as well, they might get away with that one. But they're phenomenal effort, but it's called for the flag.
Makes it a 3rd and 5, and now it's going to be 4th and short as the Ray County back, Al Velasco, picked up about 4 yards. So now, because of the pass interference penalty, Ray County with a chance to pick up another first down if they can pick up about a half yard. Football spotted just outside the 10-yard line. And once again, they have hogged this football this entire quarter in this junior varsity matchup.
It looks just like the first drive of the varsity matchup with just a power running game. Very, very few throws.
And another flag.
Looks like this one will look to me, just from the naked eye perspective, this will be on Ray County, and it is. So Oxford getting a little bit of that yardage back after that pass interference call.
So now 4th and 6 instead of 4th and 1. Waiting for the officials to let them play. And here we go. So 4th and 6 now for the Ray County Junior Varsity. Pass over the middle. Man is wide open. Touchdown. Great execution. Number 48, Dakota White, was wide open. And Logan Hall thread the needle. And that is a touchdown.
That's perfect execution. Perfect execution by the Golden Eagles. And you want to see a little bit better form. But the thing is that it worked. And the play action was sold perfectly. Sucked the linebackers up just a hair. That's all you needed. And then big number 48 slipping past that defense, past the secondary. Dakota White putting the JV on the board.
I tell you, he's got to be impressed with the execution and the coaching of this Ray County team. We knew they had a good program coming in tonight, and they've really represented themselves and their school well in this game tonight. And the 2-point conversion is good as Chris Sturgeon able to turn the corner and get across the goal line. So the Ray County JV gets the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. As we see the scoring drive, and again, the Sarah Ford scoring drive looking just like the varsity numbers.
You know, and actually the JV might have a little edge on the varsity because they chewed up about 28 more seconds of time. It was about 7:40 on one end, 8:08 on the other end. So the JV will have a little bit of bragging rights to go back home and say, hey, our drive executed just a little bit better than y'all's on the varsity side. But either way, very, very effective running there by Ray County. We'll see if Oxford can follow in suit. And really, Oxford's game is to do it a lot faster. So with 3:52 here, we'll see what the Yellow Jacket JV squad can do.
All right, here's the Oxford JV on the field now. Handoff up the middle. Big hole and a big run by number 35, Richard Cantrell. Quarterback for the Oxford JV is Andrew Halpin.
Just a great run there, just a very solid run, and really reminiscent of what we saw with Jordan Swain earlier with the varsity. He's a back that looks slim, has slim shoulders, but he's really good as far as getting up there, finding the hole, finding the crease, and getting the yards.
Here is Cantrell again. Flag comes flying in from the area where you normally see holding.
9 times out of 10, whenever you get it right there in the middle, right between the A gap and the C gap on both sides of the football, that's where you'll see a lot of holding calls. And Mickey, you call it, that's holding on the offense and takes away a pretty decent run there by Cantrell. And these are teaching moments for the coaches. And you're hearing a lot of yelling on down there on the sideline, but these moments right here in games, in the spring games, where mistakes are made, this is where you can pop back the tape in 2-a-days and say, we weren't game ready back then. We're not game ready now. We can work our way closer and closer to it. Penalties are the #1 thing. You heard James Clement coach Wade Waldrop echo those same sentiments, that you want to get out of here injury-free, #1, obviously, but 2, limit the amount of mistakes you make.
2nd down and 6 now for the Yellow Jackets. Halpin under center. Pitches back to Cantrell. Cantrell, good speed. Young man looked good on that run. Turned the corner, picked up 10 yards, a first down out at the 45.
We're seeing now with both teams the execution level when they go under center and they toss the football to the running back. We've seen it with Jordan Swain, and we've seen it now with Richard Cantrell. And I'm not sure if it's a blocking thing, and I'm not sure if it's just the way these running backs like to run, but really both times that the offense has gone to utilizing under center plays, it's really worked out well.
All right, 1st and 10. Oxford JV on the move. 2:44 and counting left in the junior varsity quarter. Not much room at all that time up the middle for Cantrell. Picks up maybe a half yard, if anything. A lot of substitutions, a lot of young men getting a chance to play, shifting in and out of here for the Oxford junior varsity.
Coaches a lot of times will also like to use this area, this part of the game, to really shift guys around. Maybe move a guy from guard to tackle. Maybe if a guy's got a little chance at running back, maybe moving to fullback, from tight end, split him out wide, see what he can do there. So we're seeing a lot of mixing and matching of not only personnel but positions.
Here's the give up the middle. Nothing doing at all that time for Prentice Spomby. Picks up about a yard. It'll set up a 3rd and 8 now at the 47-yard line. Under 2 minutes to play now as the Oxford band still contributing to the atmosphere here tonight at JSU Stadium.
One of the better bands in East Alabama. They go to several competitions. They've been invited to several parades. Very, very high honors, and listening to one of the best bands in the state of Alabama.
So 3rd down and 8. Pass is away and incomplete. Halpin was looking for number 32, Demekus Thomas. The pass was behind him. Really didn't have a chance at that one. So it'll be 4th down and 8 now.
Yeah, really look, that play was kind of broken up from the beginning, and quarterback really didn't get his footing. Neither did the receiver, and either way it was really well guarded by that defense. And so looks like we'll go. Looks like they'll go for it here.
So 4th and 8. Cantrell is cut down about 2 yards shy of the first down at the 47-yard line. So the drive will stall there as the Ray County defense does just enough to stop the Yellow Jacket junior varsity offense. They will get it back with 1:14 to play.
A lot of things to take away there. Good for Coach Herring, both on the offense and the defense. And I know you look at the drive given up by the defense, but there was lots of individual plays that were solid there for the Yellow Jackets, and they'll shore some things up coming up in the fall and in fall camp. And a lot of these guys, their work during the season is to play the other team, is to show what the other team will do and get the varsity team ready for what the upcoming opponents will do. This is a good chance, a good observation time for the coaches to see what these guys can do running their own plays.
Velasco with a little push from his friends. Picks up close to 10 yards.
Really no quit in this Golden Eagle football team. And you'll see they'll be successful. This is what I was talking about earlier. Watch these running backs here. The way they'll get their alignment is they'll just go fingertip to fingertip. They'll go by the wingspan. And you talked about the offensive lineman splits, kind of cleat to cleat. They're really precise in the way that they line up. They don't just get there and line the football up and ready to go there. They really get exactly their measurements from where they want to be in relationship to one another. Good job there on the defense, though.
Yeah, DeAndre Allen, big number 78, making the stop of Chris Sturgeon after a gain of 2, is ticking down to our final seconds here in the junior varsity quarter.
Looks like the fans in green will go home happy with really both sides. Obviously a tie there with the varsity, but just a very, very good showing out of Rhea County, Tennessee. And I'm excited to see and excited to follow them coming up in the fall and see if they can make another trip back to the state final.
Ball to the air, connects with his receiver down inside the 20-yard line. Nice strike to Chris Sturgeon. Good execution. Again, just very impressed with all phases of the execution, especially for a spring training game with this Rhea County offense.
Absolutely, and they've done it really both ways, and we've seen it obviously through the ground, on the ground, but obviously through the air. And hold the phone on the big play right there because got some laundry on the field.
So we've got a lineman downfield.
I guess they just got too excited. They're so used to running the football, they can just go wherever they want to when they block downfield. Sometimes they forget they can't do that when you're passing the football.
5-yard penalty, and obviously much bigger penalty than that. That wound up being about a 23-yard penalty. They bring it all the way back to the 43-yard line with 6 seconds to play in the quarter. Illegal man downfield, the call. So barring a defensive penalty, we're down to one more play.
Yep, and a good showing really for both teams. And I think that this changes the play call here for Rhea County, unless they have a Hail Mary out of this formation, which I doubt. It looks like we'll see just another safe running play or maybe a kneel here as Rhea County's JV team will come home with the win. And not even a play. They'll call it, looks like.
The end of that quarter. Coach Herring coming over to speak with Coach Pemberton. Looks like that will conclude things here, even though I haven't seen the teams line up to shake hands yet.
Right.
All right, they've decided to go 8 more minutes. Which basically means about one more drive for Rhea County?
Yeah, that's what it's basically surmised to here over the last 2 drives for Rhea County. And 8:08 was the time.
Or 3 drives for Oxford, right?
right. It's another good look there at the band. And you could tell just with the energy level. Of course, it's Friday, and this is their last day of school for this week and winding down towards the end of the year. But even the band will have a very strenuous summer coming up. They'll pick up their instruments relatively soon. I would say late June, late July. They pick up their instruments before band camp. Middle of July. That's what I'm getting told by Anna, one of our interns and a band expert.
I was about to say, I'm in the booth here, so I'm watching you. You're having to consult and get input. You don't know the answer to that question on your own.
I don't know. I do know band camp starts about the same time, close to the same time as football camp. Anna, one of our interns from Jacksonville State, in the booth with us. She served with the Gadsden City Titan Band as well as Gadsden High School. She's interning this summer. She tells me middle of July is when they'll pick up their instruments, and they'll start working on their show for halftime during the fall.
All right, so the junior varsity players get 8 more minutes of football here before we wrap up day 1 of the Gridiron Challenge. First down carry of about 3 yards for the Golden Eagles to the Oxford 40. We've talked about Saturday's games. Looking ahead to Monday, we've got kind of a round robin between 3 schools, Central, Coosa, Spring Garden, and Southeastern. Then we got a kind of the marquee game on Monday night, Mumford and Guntersville. That should be interesting.
That should be really interesting. We saw Coach Bill Smith bring the Mighty Lions back to prominence 1 year after Will Wagnon left the program for Hazel Green, and had a pretty good first year with Hazel Green, but what we saw with Bill Smith was just phenomenal. A deep run in the playoffs. And this year, he told me earlier this week, 90 players came out for spring football. 90 at a 5A school or at a 4A school. And so you're seeing some of the revived effort, the revived energy with the Mumford Lions, with Coach Bill Smith. He's a guy that loves to talk football. Came over from Shades Valley 1 year in, really made his mark on the program. So it'll be exciting to see what the first steps of year 2 under Bill Smith looks like.
Pass over the middle is picked off. They were trying to connect with number 43, Peyton Samples, but the pass by Hall was a little high. Not the first mistake he's made, and it landed right in the arms of the Yellow Jackets, Demekus Thomas.
Demekus Thomas Jr. getting an interception on the same play that killed Oxford for the touchdown early on. Play action, basically just a really seam. It's not even a post. He doesn't even run as far as a jagged on his route. He just runs right down the middle of the field. And great interception there. Great read by the defensive back.
So the Oxford JV offense back on the field, first down at their own 25. Here's the pitch to Cantrell. Nice hole on the right side. And picks up a gain of 8 yards on first down before he is taken to the turf by Will Massingale of Ray County.
I really like when Oxford goes under center. I just think that their offense is so much more effective. They can get a fullback out there, and it gives the running back a great chance to get the football. And they're not running a stretch run play where they're handing the ball to the running back. They're getting the running back ahead of steam, and they're pitching it to him. And we've seen it with Jordan Swain, and we're seeing it with Cantrell. It's really effective.
Correction, that was Jaden Austin on the tackle for the Golden Eagles. 2nd and 2, flag again. 2 flags. Which means 2 officials saw the same thing, I'm sure. Procedure call against the Oxford offense.
Kind of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and it's the 2nd or 3rd penalty we've seen on this Oxford JV squad. So another thing that the coaches will harp on coming up as the offseason comes. These little things in football games can be the difference between wins and losses.
Halpin pitches to Cantrell. That has definitely been the go-to play here in this junior varsity quarter for Oxford. Cantrell stopped at the 35 for a short gain. It'll set up 3rd and 5.
Good look there at the Oxford linemen. A lot of these guys will, I find it really just interesting, really amazing to see these guys now and cut this tape back on in 2 more years when they're seniors, because you're really seeing a lot of the muscle growth and just the size growth. You see it the most, I think, as far as just the evidence of it. You see it in a lot of these big guys up front. And, I mean, they're good-sized players now, but in 2 years, they will be huge.
Cantrell over right tackle. Picks up 4 yards to the 34. So he's a yard short of the first down. It'll be 4th down.
And this is where that penalty comes back to hurt you, because so far Cantrell has run for the yards that you would have got a first down with, but now you're in a 4th and short situation. Hopefully trying to keep the drive alive here with 4:30 to play.
And they'll go for it. 4th and a yard. Cantrell lined up in the backfield. They call his number. Football's loose. Ray County pounces on it at the 35. Cantrell was going to have the first down, but someone stripped it out of there. And Ray County's number 43, Peyton Samples, the rising sophomore, able to come up with it. There you see the strip, though, by big number 72, Tyler Shelton. Only our 2nd turnover between these two teams, varsity and junior varsity. The first one benefited Oxford, even though the Jackets couldn't cash in there at the end of the varsity game. Here, the junior varsity comes up with a turnover, but I guess according to the rules, they were going to, well, no, he got the first down, so it was a big turnover there. Oxford would have had the football, the drive would have continued, but now instead, Ray County with 4:20 left in what we are pretty sure is the final quarter, has it back.
Inside run just went nowhere there. Good job by the Oxford defense. Looks like 47, the first guy to get his hat in on the play. Good job there by Joseph Elliott. And I like the way that the Eagles run their offense even between plays. Because if you're going to be old school in the play, you might as well be old school in the way you call it. They have the quarterback run all the way to the end, to the sideline, verbally get the play call from the coach, run back and call it in the huddle. No signals, no signs, no posters on the sideline. It's old school as it comes.
Bring up 3rd down.
And Braden Davis on the carry that time for a very short gain. I'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
It's a good look at Coach and JV quarterback there, Coach Pemberton and his QB relaying the call in. This is what I was talking about earlier. They eat up the time in every way possible, and one of those is just calling the plays. Take some time for the quarterback to get to the sideline. Take some time for Coach Pemberton to make up what is mine, what is the play is going to call, and then back in and call it to the rest of the team.
And Hall able to turn the corner. Boy, someone was bearing down from the backside, but Hall turns it upfield, takes it inside the 30 for a nice gain. It'll set up a 4th and short coming up.
Thomas Madden III was the player you're referencing. Great job there scraping on the back end, but Hall doing a good job of cutting it back up, avoiding a big play. We saw that earlier with Danico Tanner. And that'll be key for this Oxford Yellow Jacket team, is having strength really on both sides of the football, and also having strengths on both sides of your defensive and offensive units.
4th and 3 now, possession play. Handed over the right side, first down, and again, we keep saying it, but the patience of these Ray County runners, that time Gavin Morrison, the upcoming 10th grader, looked like he had nowhere to run, but watch, he just kind of hangs around and boom, gets a nice surge there right at the end, and that'll move the chains.
One of the first rules that running backs coaches give to their running backs is do not stop moving your feet. You drop into any practice across America, that's what they work on, continuing to move your feet, and that time it really served them well.
Under 2 minutes to play. New set of downs for the Golden Eagles. Give to the fullback. Short gain that time for Brandon Hunt. He's taken to the turf at about the 19-yard line for a gain of 3.
We talked about Oxford moving forward. Obviously, moving into a new region is a big key for them. Another thing that I think is really phenomenal is the fact that they're getting all new opponents, but familiar opponents back on their schedule, and I think that'll be interesting to see how they go and how they approach region play in the next year of Coach Herring's tenure there.
Definitely a much more fan-friendly region with teams such as, you know, you keep Pell City, you add Southside, you got Albertville, Coleman, Fort Payne. You know, it's definitely much more of a fan-friendly, and And, you know, obviously gone teams like Opelika and Ben Russell.
Right.
And those teams won't be missed.
Exactly. And Valley, and you throw in, I mean, because it really does two things. Chilton County was another one of those things where it's almost a chore just to get to the game, especially when you're playing on the road, when you're playing Valley and Chilton County, and you're on those buses for 2.5 and 3 hours. I'm sure there is no hard feelings leaving that region. And if we'll see it, we'll see in the playoffs.
Yes. Well, another good run, that time by Morrison. And it is a 1st and goal at the Oxford 7. So only 30 seconds and counting left. So Ray County, their JV already has 1 touchdown and 2-point conversion in the junior varsity matchup as they look to close out with more points. Morrison gets the handoff and is knocked down just short of the goal line as a host of Jackets converged on him there at the 1-yard line, and the clock continues to tick down here.
Looks like Coach Pemberton is he's pointing right to the middle of the field, just telling us guys we will just let this thing run out, and they'll come away with a 22-14 win.
And a nice hand from the crowd for both teams as Ray County and Oxford will meet at the 50-yard line and shake hands. And you see Kenny Britt and Edwards, 2 big-time prospects, the leading prospects on both of these teams, meeting at the 50-yard line.
Kind of shows their character, really, for both guys, being the team leaders that led their guys out. Really, obviously, prime examples of what you want your leaders to be, and then you're glad that they're also the ones that get the love from the colleges, and obviously wish both of them the best as they juggle the recruiting side of it with the academics and the high school side of it. So really good shot of both teams.
All right, let's send it down to John Holder.
All right, here with Oxford head coach Ryan Herring. Coach Herring, this offense that Ray County brought in, not something obviously you see every day, especially in a spring game.
No, I watched the Packers film from '67, and it was real similar, but they were in too tight, straight T. Kind of remind me of Mike Battles back in about '87. We kind of wasn't ready. We were ready for a regular wing, you know, jet and all kind of stuff, but they were too tight, smash mouth, and they did a good job.
I know anytime, every team when they come into a spring game, you got some young guys that have never really played before under the lights for the first time, playing in a game atmosphere. I know you had some guys like that, probably some guys that stood out for you like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, sometimes you're not sure if you want to play a spring scrimmage or not, but it worked out great for us. We got to see some kids who didn't play last year, played. Some guys who were 9th graders last year that kind of got beat up on out here. They've grown up a lot and doing some hitting, so it was real good for us.
One of those guys that was a great player for you last year, but he's in a new position. Abe Peoples at quarterback. What'd you think about him tonight?
I thought he did great, especially, he's a 9th grader right now. He's not a sophomore yet, but he did a great job. And he's a good kid, smart kid, so that's what I was expecting from him.
Literally turned the lights on. Talk about coming up here and playing at Jacksonville State, television, turf, playing an out-of-state team. Pretty heady stuff here for a spring game.
Oh, I'm telling you, this was nice, and I wish we could do it every year. They've been in the semifinals 2 years in a row up in Tennessee, so we knew they'd be a tough team. So it was a good spring game for us, and being here at Jack State was awesome.
Take us into the summertime now. What's the plan? Talking to the Oxford fans out there, and I know they want to know what the schedule is and what's happening over the summer. What have you got planned for the summer?
Well, we'll give them a few weeks off. I've had a long year lifting off season, and and just had a rough 2 weeks. So we'll give them a few weeks off, and then come June we're gonna hit it pretty hard.
And then that first game will be a special game for you, I know, with Talladega coming in there, a little family battle coming up.
Yeah, we always opened up with Talladega years ago, and getting to open up with them again, it's going to be pretty neat with my brother being a coach down there. So it'll be interesting.
Will those little family meetings that you have this summer be a little bit different than they have in the past?
Well, we don't like each other a whole lot, so we really won't like each other now.
Coach, thank you very much for spending time with us. We'll see you this fall.
Appreciate it.
Ryan Herring of the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Here, a pretty impressive showing here. Good ball game here at JSU tonight.
All right, thanks, John. And there you see the Oxford Yellow Jackets on the field here at JSU Stadium, waiting on their head coach to finish up his interview, and now he'll go address his team. And John Holder's going to take a shot at getting Coach Pemberton of Ray County before they head north back to Tennessee. Hopefully we can. Would love to get his thoughts on this game. Obviously, Coach Herring and Gerhard felt like this was a very productive spring game for him.
Absolutely. And you heard a lot of the same sentiments as you heard with Coach Danny Horn of Benjamin Russell. You wanted to play a team that could give you a good challenge. You wanted to play a team that could really help propel you coming up in the fall. So lots to take forward to from Oxford. And you're seeing that same message that he gave to John with his team right now.
All right, we heard the Oxford angle. Let's get the Ray County angle. Back to John Holder.
Ray County head coach Mark Pemberton with us. His team made the long trip, about 3 hours here from middle of Tennessee. And just your assessment first of your football team tonight.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the folks in charge down here for inviting us down. Great experience for our kids. I think we really enjoyed it. Oxford and Coach Herring, great group of people, so we really enjoyed working against them. As far as our team goes, pleased with it. It's a first scrimmage for us. We got another one Saturday, so we got a lot of improving to make, but pretty pleased with it.
You run, obviously, a little different offense than most folks run in this day and time, and that deals people some problems, right?
It does. We try to, my dad was a coach for 45 years. He always told me run something different than what everybody else is. So, as people are running that spread, we're gonna run the wing T basically now. I've never run this set that we run today. We're usually 2 wings and running it, but we're experimenting a little this spring. But it's worked pretty well for us. We've been to two straight semifinals in Tennessee, and so we got a really good nucleus coming back. I think we got some kids that we can make another run at it.
I was about to ask, being in the semifinals the last couple of years and just a game away from being in the state championships in Tennessee, for our folks down here in Alabama, you feel like, obviously you just said, you got a good shot at doing that again?
I think so. We were missing about 14 kids tonight. They're in baseball and soccer and stuff, spring sports. So, we've got some good kids that weren't here. So we really feel like that we've got a chance to be pretty good if we keep developing.
Now, you're on Eastern time, right? So what time will you guys pull back in tonight?
We're going to be back about 2 o'clock, 1:30, something like that. We've got a golf tournament at 11 in the morning. So I told our players we're going to make a quick turnaround, guys.
I got one more question before we let you get out of here. Alabama-Tennessee on the college level is a big rivalry, and I think a lot of times we don't get an opportunity to see the high schools play each other. Kind of compare Alabama and Tennessee high school football now that you've seen a little bit of it close up.
Well, I know Alabama football is really good football. Tennessee, with the upper echelon teams, are really good also. I think they can compete for the most part. We've had some matchups, I think, in the last few years with some of our Murfreesboro teams, with some of the Alabama teams. So, and they're pretty good matchups. But first of all, I want to say this too. I'm a lifelong Alabama fan.
You just made a lot of folks around here who love Ray County a whole lot more.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having us down. Appreciate it.
Coach, be careful. Head home. Safe trip to your team, and we'll let you get some rest for that golf tournament tomorrow.
No rest. Just a quick turn. I'll probably just drive straight to the tournament.
Thank you, Coach. Mark Pemberton, head coach of the Ray County Golden Eagles, bringing his team down here to Northeast Alabama tonight.
All right, thanks, John. Class act there, which is no surprise because his team was very classy and very well coached the way they played in this game tonight. So great way to wrap up our first day here at the Gridiron Challenge. First game tonight, James Clemens and Ben Russell, really the marquee game of the whole Gridiron Challenge. Two top upper echelon teams in the state of Alabama, and a great game earlier today with a lot of major college prospects on the field, a lot of coaches here recruiting in the game, and then obviously a very interesting contrast in styles between Ray County and Oxford, and a big day coming up tomorrow.
Yep, starts bright and early, 9 a.m. We mentioned it earlier with the 8-man football. I really think if you're a football fan, really of any level, college, pro, you're going to want to see this. It's a different brand of football, a little different style, different play calling, just different formality altogether, and I think you'll really like what you see, especially with the teams that are here, and then that continues on to some of the more marquee traditional matchups we're talking about, and then caps off with Anniston versus the defending Class 4A state champion Leeds.
All right, should be a big day tomorrow. Follow up a big night tonight. It's day one of the Gridiron Challenge is in the books. We'll be back on the air live 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Hope to see you here, though, at JSU Stadium to take in the action all day long at the Gridiron Challenge. For Gerhard Mathangani, for John Holder, for our entire crew, so long from day one, the Gridiron Challenge from Jacksonville.